there, Andrew from C1D Paintball, and today's dispatch is about the freeze, or as a lot of people call it, the mercy. So the situation where you're either behind an opponent or you're close enough that you call mercy instead of shooting them in a situation that can be dangerous or disrespectful. You instead call them out like that. This can be a really divisive topic. How divisive can it be? Just the fact that once I talked about in a Discord or chat room or somewhere where I mentioned, the freeze rule. And I'm adamant about, using the freeze rule. I am not a super competitive player. I don't play at a high level, so I'm more geared towards that. I play a lot more open games with, usually there's some new players or lesser skilled players in it. So that's where I stand. But I can understand guys that play super competitive in leagues and stuff like that, where it's not part of the game. There is no. I can understand that. But I was in this conversation in this particular, like I said, it was chat room, Discord, whatever it was. And the person, when I kept saying, freeze. You freeze a guy. And he's like, you don't even know what you're talking about. It's something, I'm going to paraphrasing. You don't know what you're talking about. It's not even called freeze. No wonder you get upset. It's mercy. Everywhere you go, it's mercy. And I mentioned, well, I'm from Quebec, and, that's what they call it. I played in Quebec, and it's mercy. Maybe in a couple of fields they respect that, but the fact he said he played in Quebec, he never heard freeze. The reason why, and a lot of you who play paintball in Quebec, and maybe in parts of Ontario, like Commando, where there's a lot of French players, Commando Action, where a lot of French players play, the word mercy sounds a lot like merci, which is, of course, is thank you. So it's a little confusing when you're on the field. Thank you. That's why in Quebec they don't say that. So it is so divisive. That's the best analogy I could think of. I know a little bit what I'm going to say here. I don't have a big script or anything. I don't have a script at all. But honestly, it's so divisive, the whole mercy rule thing, that even talking about what you call it can anger some people. The reality is this: a field will tell you. Your first time you're at a field, they'll usually tell you what's involved in it. LaSalle Paintball, we always played drop-ins. So there was always, brand new players or parties of players. When there's a party, it's usually, teenagers and that. Sometimes a little younger, up to 12 to 18, let's say. Or just, walk-in people, a lot of couples, 3 teenage couples come in with their girlfriends and that. You use the mercy rule. It's respectful. For many reasons, you want people to keep playing, all this kind of thing. But my point is, the field's rule was, for these open drop-in, absolutely, and it was general rule anyway, you freeze a player. Especially certain game types, but if you're within a certain amount of feet, and your field can be different on this if they have the mercy rule, some make it clear that you don't have to adhere to it. But in LaSalle Paintball is when somebody mercies you, that's it. Now, if I jump into a room and there's 5 other guys there and I go, mercy, you got to use your head. Was I going to get all 5? No. If you see me play, I'd be lucky to get 1. So it's not as if you just run around the corner, hey, mercy. I mean, no, you don't abuse it. I hope I don't have to explain that at a lower level. You use your common sense. You're behind a guy. Very common when you play jail because it's so close quarter. Many times my play attacking was to go behind the jail, and so the guys were all looking at the east side, and I came in from the west, and all I saw were heads in the jail. All I saw were heads. Of course I mercied them. Of course I did. And, but even there's so many subcategories. What if a player hasn't played there before and, listen to the ref? I'm not used to it. Where I'm used to it, where I play, it's a suggestion. Yeah, but your field. What's the rule? So I'm pretty adamant about a mercy rule or freeze in Quebec. That's what I say. I'm saying mercy to accommodate other people. I'm so accommodating. I'm a proponent of it because I'm used to it, because that's the rule of my field. But again, I totally understand other fields that don't have it or that make it optional. I think I've ever been one that doesn't have it. And, you know, hey, look, it's a courtesy thing. Yeah, that's my opinion. But I understand other people that, you know, don't play at fields like that. But when you're at a field and they have it, respect it. I mean, it's one thing if you say, well, you know, they say it's optional, but it's new players, so I'm going to take it easy. That's your personal preference. You know, the world isn't a perfect place. I'd like to think people would give people the benefit of the doubt and not go hard on noobs. But, you know, we've also seen noobs run in and not mercy and shoot you from 2 feet away. And all of a sudden, as Murphy's Law is, the very next game, you're in this situation where he's got his back to you. You know, take the high ground. Have I ever done it in revenge? I can't plead the fifth or whatever it is, because that's the American thing. So the mercy rule is an interesting one. I'm not going to get too much deeper into it. That's where I stand, and I try to explain why I stand that way. And once again, I say I understand why people might be more against it. But you have to take a lot of things into account, and part of it is your reflexes too. Legitimately, you're used to, you know, being able to say no. Okay. Here's an example, though, of when I will get mad. And in the next video, the reason why I'm having this topic, although I always wanted to have it in a dispatch, is I'm in the jail, I'm in the back, there's the grate here, the jail. The enemy player is walking by the back of their head. I'm on one knee in the jail, and I go, hey man, freeze. Hey, freeze, I don't want to hit you in the back of the head. And he's talking because he doesn't want to be frozen. You know, before I can say, man, it's the rule of the field. There's an open doorway right here. His teammate comes in. He's within 5, maybe 7 feet max from me. Pops me a couple times in the chest. I was mad. It went away very quickly. It wasn't one of these boiling things that ruined my day. But it's like, unquestionably, and we talked about it in the staging area after. He heard me. He's going, well, it's optional. You know, there's no guarantee, you know, that you would have hit him. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, I don't listen to freezes because, paraphrasing him, I hope I'm not using a tone because the guy's an intelligent, talented player. But he basically talks that, he says, you know, when somebody freezes you, it doesn't guarantee they're going to hit you. If they're up with their marker and they say freeze, it doesn't mean they can hit you. So I'm going to try to outdraw them, outshoot them. Well, good for you. And that's your prerogative to play if that's the way you're going to play, as long as the field doesn't have a freeze rule. So if you're saying if my marker is down, by the way, when this guy came in the room, oh yeah, my marker was up because I was talking to the other guy. And I started to put it down. He had the jump on me big time. If I would have had time to pull it around and one tap him, sometimes it might work. Against this guy who's zeroed in, a talented player, that just, it wasn't going to happen. To a certain degree, I can understand if he's playing in a competitive situation. Okay, yeah, whatever. And it's established. You don't have to adhere to that rule. Okay. But come on. There are rules. And there are gray areas. And there is disrespect to your opponents and the rules. And that's where I stand on that. And if I go to a field where it's an option, and that same situation would have happened where the guy was there, you know, saying, I don't want to hit the back of the head. His teammate comes in, pops him one. I'm going to maybe sit and go, man, that sucks. You know, normal. I'm not used to that. I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm not going to say a damn thing because that's the situation I'm in. I understand that. It's like if you play hockey, you're going to play in a pickup league. Is there checking? Yeah, well, I'm not used to playing where I get hit, but so if I go in the corner and I get plastered, I got the puck, so I get plastered. For those of you who don't know hockey, you can't really get hit if you don't have the puck. I can't bitch about it because I knew what I was getting myself into. So yeah, I probably rambled on enough about this. I've never had massive issues. It comes up. And I love the staging area because that's where we talk about things. Especially, indoor field like LaSalle Paintball was. Where it's 8-minute games, so you're gonna spend, and then there's like 10, 15 minutes between games a lot of times. You spend more time talking about it, and you establish after something happens like the second, third game in where something like what I explained happened, that situation in jail. You talk with guys, so at least you know, like, okay, now we're switching sides. You're going to defend jail. By the way, you know, you adjust, you work with it. You show the new players too that you talk it out. Sometimes situations are bad. People don't want to listen. That's just the way it is. That's freaking life, right? Anyway, that's where I stand on that. Don't hate me if that's how I feel, because once again, I do understand if that's not how you play. But we're going to agree to disagree if you have the feeling that, well, you know, or you're going to disregard the field's rules. I mean, when you walk into that field, when you sign your waiver, when you get shown the whole thing about this is who we are and what we do, you have to adhere to those rules. So please do. And you know, if you just happen by reflex to pop one, it's one thing, but when it's blatant, you know that it wasn't a reflex, you know, you're not helping anybody there. You know, hey, you want to get me out so badly? You'd have frozen, by the way, I would have been out. But anyway, I love talking. Thanks for watching. Video's coming out this Monday. Most likely when you're watching this, the video was released a long time ago. That gave me the inspiration to release this. That incident in that video, I'm going to put a big underline. I really wasn't too upset. When it happened, I said, what the F, and I beeped it out. Because, you know, although there's swearing in our videos, I didn't want, it just seemed so blatant in that. It went away. You can see me walking off the field after, talking to the guys involved, the guy who didn't freeze behind. And I talked to the other guy who popped me after, and everything was cool. So I wasn't freaking out about it. I just thought, you know what, do I talk about, you know, I got to talk about the whole freeze thing and that because it's come up in some of the other videos. And I didn't want to drag down that, although I did talk about it a little bit. But anyway, what do you think about it? And, you know, and let's take the high ground, you know, the guy's a baby and that. No, it's not about being baby and that. It's respecting the rules of the field. Thanks for watching. I've talked more than enough. Have a great day. And remember, at the end of the day, it's only a game.